Hi there After Effects folks, I've been asked to make a video in which some photographs flip as if they're a book, like this kind of effect. Okay, so I'll break it down into stages. So the first thing obviously is I took some photos, all with the kind of cups in the same place, pretty much the same place. Okay, and the first thing we're doing, because it's an Instagram type video, I'm going to create a new composition. So I'll do new composition. I just need it to be, say, 3 seconds, that'll be okay. And I'll make it 1080 by 1080, 25 frames per second. That should be fine. Okay. So, very short comp, won't even need all of that. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to arrange our photographs so that one's at the front and one's at the back in 3D space. So, for example, this one here. Okay, if I go to the camera, well, if I go to my custom view, okay, and then look at the camera, you can see on the back, it's the different mug, it's the A-team, okay. So that means, and this back image has been flopped so that it's a reverse, so that when it does the page turn and rotates by 180, it'll be the right way, okay. So that's what we're kind of going to make next. An image at the front, and then an image behind it which has been reversed. Okay, so here's my new comp. So I'm going to call this, I'll rename this by hitting return, and I'll call this camel front A team back. Oh, right, okay. So let's take the camel first and drop that in. Now these are big images, okay, so I'm going to resize this to fit the comp width. So fit to comp width. Right. And then behind that, I'm going to take the A-team and again transform fit to comp width. And I'm going to make both of these 3D. Okay, so what I'm now going to do on my custom view, okay, I can still only see Qatar. Okay, so what I'm simply going to do is move the bottom image behind just by 1. So I'm going to press P and I'm going to type 0.1. Okay, tiny amount, but now when I move my camera, okay, we've got a different mug on the back. Okay, so flip that around, and then so I'm going to go back to my active camera and just turn this off so I can see the bottom image, and go to my effects and I'm going to type flop. Okay, so that this bottom image is now reversed. Okay, so that's the first stage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that, I'm going to repeat that. So I won't go through it because it'll be a very long video, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to repeat that stage so that each one has a different cup at the front. So I'm going to have one with the camel at the front, and one with the A-team at the front, and one with Dracula at the front, and a different cup on the back. Okay, and that's the first stage that I'm going to put together, and I'll have 3 compositions. And we'll come back and then we'll split the compositions and arrange them in the timeline so we can turn them like the pages of a book. Okay, back soon. So I've completed that and I now have 3 compositions. A-team front, Dracula back, camel front, A-team back, and Dracula front, camel back. Okay, so I've also, for all of these compositions, I've turned on the motion blur for the comp and for each layer. Okay, so when we flip the page, we'll get some nice motion blur going on later. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. So I've got 2 comps, and I'll name the top one left. Okay, and the other one I'll name right. Now I'll do this with all the comps, but I'll just do this on one of them again, so I don't have to take you through the whole process because I'm basically doing the same thing for everything. So I'll make a left and right version for each one. So let's start with the left, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new composition, and I'll call this like all pages. Okay, same settings as before, but I'm going to make this a bit longer. So I'll make this like a, let's say 10 seconds. I won't need that, but 10 seconds. Okay, and I'm just going to drop this this top one in. We can do this one first, and let's do the left side first. What I'm going to do with the left is I'm going to double click on this to do a mask, and I'm going to go to my view, show grid. Okay, and I'm going to move this mask over. I can move this over, and if I hold down shift, I can constrain it, and I'm going to snap it. Now what I need to do here is make sure I've got it right in the center. Okay, so I've got my grid, I'm snapping it to the grid there. Okay, so if I look at that, that's my left side. Okay, and then I can do the same on here. Okay, and I'll click on this, oops, all pages, and I'll add a mask to this, and on this mask I'll take the mask and I'll move that over, hold down shift, snap it over to the right, that snaps. Okay, so I can turn the grid off and just help me put it into place. So we've now got a left and a right side. Okay, so I'm going to end up with 6 comps. Okay, and we're going to have left and right for both. Okay, and we're also going to make these comps 3D. Okay, so I'll go through the stages of repeating that for the other comps, dividing them into left and right, masking out a left area, masking out a right area, and then we'll come back and do the next stage. Okay, so now I've got all my comps divided left and right, I can start to build the page turning. So I've got 2 of them in here, a right and a left. So if I turn one off, you can see, okay, we've got 2 comps fitting together. Let's put a white background in here as well to give it that kind of style that we had at the start. Okay, and I can lock that because that's just going to stay where it is. Okay, so now that we've got these as 3D layers divided in 2, and our anchor point is in the center, I'm going to hit rotation. Okay, and what I'll do is at like 5 frames. So I'll keep it still for 5 frames, and then I'm going to hit Y rotation. Okay, and then I'm going to just come to here and I'll do this 180. Okay, and there we go. So that's going to flip over. Now the thing is, as it flips, it's still showing, oops, the camel on the back. So to fix that, if I click this button here, collapse the transformation, collapse the composition, I should say. There we go. All right, now it kind of ripples through from inside, and we've now got, okay, so we're getting there. So next thing I need to do is I'm going to fill in the right side. So the next image I'm going to have is going to be the 18. So it's going to be on the right hand side. So here's 18 right. Okay, and I kind of like to color code these just so they're different colors. Let's make this green, for example, and that can just start as this one starts its animation. If I press the U key, there's the keyframe. So as it comes over, that's now on the right, and that finishes there. So I can cut the left there because that's gone, just to keep it tidy. And then what I'll do is I'll come to here and I'll just split this and cut this. Okay, so I've basically created one flip like so. And obviously I can change the timings of this. So what I'd actually like is a bit faster. So let's just hit U. And just got these keyframes, so I'm going to make this just 5 frames. Like this, like that, and just pull this in. Again, at 15 frames, I'm just going to cut the lot. I've got my timing slightly wrong. Split layer, cut all that. So I've just got a quick flip and then to nothing. Okay, so now I've built this up, I can use a little After Effects shortcut to kind of speed up getting the next layer in. So I'm just going to select all these 3 layers and duplicate them and move them up and have them start where this ends. Okay, so there it switches back to the camel. Okay, so I'm going to select the top layer, which is camel right, and I now want this to be 18 right. So I'm going to go 18 front right. And if I've got this selected and then I hold down the Alt key and drag this in, it'll drop on with the same properties, and I can do the same for left. Okay, so I'm just using this shortcut to speed, don't have to animate this again. And then with this one, this is now going to flip over, and when it flips, I want this side to be Dracula. So on this one, select that, and then that's going to be Dracula on the right hand side. Drop that in. Okay, so, and I need to just have this start a bit sooner. It needs to start on the animation. So I'll just move those in. Okay, so here we go. Flips over, 18, and then flips over, and then it's Dracula. So what I can then do is, again, I can duplicate all these, move these to the top, move these along, okay, and go through the same process. So next we want this to be Dracula right again. So again, Alt, Dracula right. This one wants to be Dracula left. We've basically got these sets of page turns, and we can kind of add more to this, you know, but we've got these 3, 1, 2, so these flip over like so. Okay, let's enable motion blur for this, and I can make that repeat just by copying the layers. If I want it to be faster, I could just trim these. Okay, so I can change the timing very easily. Okay, so if I wanted these to happen quicker, I can just change all that like so, and just have them all trimmed like this. So it's just changing these sizes. We can change the speed, but that's basically it. Off we go. So just to finish off, you can see I've duplicated these layers a few times. I've selected all the keyframes, added easy ease, okay, and of course I can change the timings of these, lots of things I can play about with, but that's the basic way to get that kind of page turn effect. Well, that's the way I've worked it out, is to make the layers 3D, basically split them in half and then rotate them, kind of like you'd rotate a real page. Okay, so I hope that's helped, and thanks for watching.